Good afternoon internet and welcome back to the channel. So it is Thursday, it's 6 minutes past 12 and it's the 14th of November. Right, so the phone's saying 8 degrees and the display is saying 11 degrees. Either way it's a bit chilly, but never mind, eh? A ride out we shall have. Well, I shall have anyway, and hopefully you'll be coming along with me. So without any further ado, do you know what, this really annoys me. On this bike, obviously the charging rate is slow, and I get that, but it keeps coming up on my phone all the time that it's slow, and I get that as well. But I don't need to be reminded of it every 5 minutes. So I'm just thinking, can I, pain in the backside it is. Right, okay, let's get the gloves back on. And, oops, side stand. Who's a silly Billy? You can tell that I haven't been out for a bit. Get it right this time, eh? Now, the last time that I actually rode this was, it had literally just had its service done, and so now, let's get that visor down because, like I say, it is a bit chilly. So now I've got the extra 2,000 revs, not that I think I'm going to need them by any means. But it is nice to know that if you want to give it just a little bit to get round somewhere, you're not exactly going to do anything wrong. Look at all the seagulls in the field, eh? It always amazes me, how do the seagulls know when they're ploughing a field? I mean, do they have scouts flying round, do you reckon? Eh? They just fly round and all of a sudden they clock a tractor and then they go and tell all the mates, you know, oi, they're doing a field here, let's all get down for our dinner, huh? And I really do think that's what they must do, huh? Oh, there was a car behind me then who wasn't there at first, but then when I pulled out he was. That'll teach me to talk. Right, okay, so without further ado, let's go for a ride. Well, the weather's not too bad, eh? I've got all my thermals on, loads of them, huh? So I actually feel like the Michelin man again. But you gotta keep warm, eh? That's the whole thing about it. Shuffling down the shoulders to get everything down. So yeah, so I took it in for its service. What are we on now? 634 kilometres, and I got it back home. To be honest with you, it was a bit of a chilly ride home, so I was just glad to get back. And so like I parked it up in the garage the way you do, and got warm, and actually by the time I got back home it was like knocking on 5 o'clock. And then the next day I was going to go out for the ride. I got all ready, but guess what, it rained, so the ride was cancelled. But anyway, I'm messing around with the bike, and I started it up like, and it came up, it was flashing, well it wasn't flashing, but it came up red, service overdue. And I looked and I thought to myself, well hang on a minute, it's just had a service, it's just been in. Excuse me. And still got the cough, by the way. Anyway, basically I thought to myself, they haven't reset the service thing. But I got to be honest, when I was riding it home, I mean, it wasn't doing it then, so I thought, well, that's a bit strange. Anyway, So I got in touch with the dealership. Now bearing in mind, you know, the dealership is like 100 kilometres away, not like you can just nip up, and the weather was absolutely awful. So I thought to myself, okay, you know, I'll get in touch with them, which I did. And I had a word with them and said, look, you know, this is coming. I said, oh right, well, it was definitely reset. I said, okay. I said, but for whatever reason, it's coming up this. And they said, right, I'll tell you what, we'll show you how to reset it, which, you know, okay, that's great. So I said, okay then. So they told me the procedure, you know, on how to reset it all, which I did, and fair enough, it reset it. The only thing is that when it did reset it, it came up that the next service was 10,000 or 12 months. Well, there's another service, there's one at 5,000 or 6 months. So basically what it had done, it had skipped a service. So I thought, right, okay. So I got back in touch with him and I said, look, okay, I've reset it, this is what it's done, we've skipped a service, what do you reckon? Is it worth resetting again, or are we going to go up to the next one? You know, it'd be like 18 months. And he said, no, leave it. And he said, look, you know, is it a huge deal to you? Is it? I said, no, it don't bother me. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, whether it's done 5,000 or 6 months come first, then it's got to have a service. You know, I can work that one out myself. I don't need this to tell me. So he said, okay. He said, well, two options then. Either come over the shop, you know, if you're out for a ride, just pop in, you know, if it's a nice day and you want to come over, or just leave it till you bring it in for its 5,000 and we'll reset it. Okay, so either way, what I did say to them was, I said, well, hang on, what if it is maybe, you know, a bit, there's a problem, you know, with this display, you know? And they said, well, it shouldn't be, but if by any chance that it is, don't worry about it, we'll replace the whole display. So I am actually hoping that it's fine and it's not going to be a problem with the display. So there you go, service done. I haven't really had a lot of chance to get out on it much since the service. It's been nearly 2 weeks, with one thing and another, which I'll get into in a minute. But what I want to do now, obviously, I want to get some kilometres on it, get it up to around about the 1,000 kilometres. Well, it's what is it? It's about 1,300, 1,500 kilometres, and then you know that it's like it's running basically. You know, I mean, it's running beautiful at the moment. I mean, it really is, you know. And like I say, that little bit more power, if you want it, is there, and it does make a difference, you know. So one of the main reasons that I haven't been out on the bike that much recently, again, you know, the accident that I had earlier on in the year seems to be giving me a lot more complications walking on this foot at the moment. You know, yeah, I can sit down in the house, it's not too bad. Sit on the bike, it's not a problem. The bike, riding the bike does still affect my shoulders and my neck quite a bit, but you know, again, what he's supposed to do, you know, you can't give up everything that you want to do. So but the foot is the worst bit, unfortunately for me. Like I say, doing things like this isn't too bad, but when it comes to walking and things like that, you know, it's a real pain in the bum, because, you know, I enjoy walking. We used to, you know, go out for family walks, and you know, especially with the kids and all that sort of stuff, it's great. You know, we used to go out on the push bike with the kids. Again, you know, all things that I like doing, as a family have sort of suffered. So I've had yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was back at hospital having a scan, a bone scan, and I've got to go back in January because they're thinking, and I hope that they're not right, that there could be some damage to a couple of the arteries running down the leg. Like I say, the only trouble is with that, of course, if that is the case, then that has got to be followed by an operation, which, you know, that just isn't good at all. So I'm really hoping that it's not that, you know. Anyway, but of course the annoying factor is with all this is that none of this was my fault, you know. This is, oi, where's this bloke going? He's supposed to be on the other side of the road. Seriously. Seen it all now, who cares? I'll stay on which side I want. Look at that view, eh? Not a lot of sun, but look at that view. Anyway, so yeah, you know, this I suppose I'm sort of quite angry that the way that this has happened, you know, due to the fitting of dodgy material in a house that I rent. So, you know, I can't say too much because you know, I'm actually starting a court case on the landlord, so yeah, you know, I've got to be a bit careful really, haven't I, eh? But yeah, just goes to show what some people, it's basically, you know, I'm just not even an apology, not even anything, you know, just took it for granted, you know, couldn't even be bothered since I've had the accident, hasn't even been bothered to come round and fix the staircase that was broken. That's the best of it, you know, just hurls abusive messages instead. So yeah, you put up with so much, don't you, and then really you have to do something about it, you know, and I'll do it legally. Anyway, that's another story for another day, eh? So yeah, so that's one of the reasons that I haven't, you know, really been out much on the bike. It's really nice how you can feel this engine now starting to sort of really loosen up, you know, and I know, you know, because you've got that extra 2,000, I mean, I hardly really go over what I was doing before, but it just, that little tiny bit more power through the gears does actually make life easier, you know. You can just, you know, without even taking this anywhere near what it could do, you know. So yeah, I mean, when it's reached its full capacity of being running, I mean, this engine's going to be an absolute, it's just going to be so nice. I mean, it really is. And Royal Enfield now, I mean, aren't they, you know, they're doing so many different things now, so many different models, you know. We have the Bear, the Bear, the 650 twin, the is it the Interceptor? Is it the Interceptor? I think it is, isn't it? Interceptor Bear, yeah. And I mean, I haven't really looked closely at that, but yeah, I would imagine it's a nice looking bike. And again, you know, one of the things that I admire with Royal Enfield is that they listen, you know, they actually tend to listen, or they appear to listen to the people that buy their bikes, and they sort of make the modifications that we were doing earlier on, you know. And yeah, I just think that's really great. It's all right, I'm just looking now because I got the crash bars on this bike now, if you remember. I fitted them on, crash bars. And crash bars sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? Engine protection bars, that sounds better. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with these. And I had the wife asked me what I wanted for Christmas, you know, eh? Well, it's got to be stuff for the bike, hasn't it, you know, when you think about it. And so I said to her, I said, well, look, you know, I really want a rack. I've put a bag on the back, which if we'll stop I'll show you. Excuse me, but I'm not happy with it. I don't like bags stuck on back seats. So yeah, I'd like a rack, and I think a rack would make life easier to carry. The trouble is with a bag on the back seat, you have to lift your leg that high to get it over, and you know, the older you get, and I'm sure a few people will agree with me, getting your leg that high, whew. And it's the one that I had me hip replacement as well. Don't want that thing popping out, eh? I will be in some sort of trouble. Still, never mind. Don't want anything popping out, to be honest with you, when I flip my leg up there. Anyway, that's another subject as well, but we won't get into that one right now either. So this road we're on, we're heading to a place called Loch Ronan, and just basically a little ride round. Like I said, there's not a lot of sun today. At least it's not raining. We had some rain the last couple of days, but not a lot. But it's dried up like really quickly, and yeah, today's dry, so that's nice. There you go, look, Loch Ronan. I think what we're going to do at this island, probably come back and then go down to the beach in that way. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. Unless I can actually cut through this way, I'm not too sure. Maybe I can. I think we'll go down this way. Just have a little ride around here, yeah. I love it when when all the trees go like a golden. Mind you, most of the leaves have fell off. They seem to have fell off really quick this year. You know, normally you have like a bit of a slow transformation. You know, all the leaves change colour and stay on for quite a while. But this year, they just seem to like bang, you know. Oh, mind you, they're gonna prove me. Oh look, he got it wrong. The bloody loads at the moment. Still, never mind. Trying to see the temperature. What's it saying now? 13 degrees. I don't know, maybe. Well, we're not 13. Yeah, we know that it's not quite right on it, so yeah. So that'd make it, I don't know, say 10. Well, 10, I can believe that. I mean, it's not freezing cold. But then again, you know, I mean, you got to be honest, doing pretty good this year weather-wise. Bit strange, standing in the field like that. Oh well, never mind, such is life. Another 30 zone, eh? But there again, aren't they all going to it now? I think every French village now, well, okay, maybe not everyone, but certainly a huge percentage, you know, are coming down with the you know, with the 30 kilometers an hour, which is what, probably 20 miles an hour, is it? I don't know, yeah, roughly. And I sort of get it in a way. It's a, you know, yes, okay, it can be a pain in the bum, but at the same time, you sort of got to look at it and think, well, you know, people that are around here, people walk out of shops and all that, and yes, maybe they should look where they're going, but at the end of the day, you know, you have to try and make it safe for the pedestrians, and you know, I think that's what they're doing. So I don't know, you know, you go to some of these, you know, when you go through these, and it is a, you know, it is a bit annoying, but it's the way the world's going, isn't it? You know, I think speed, and I think I said this on one of my other videos, speed is like smoking. Smoking's become, you know, socially unacceptable in a lot of places, you know, and I think speed's going the same way. You know, people are slowing down, people are taking it easy, and to be fair, there's not a lot we can do about it, is there? It's a nice view across there. Look at that, eh? The Bay of Douarnenez. Now, do you know what? If there was, I haven't got any criticisms really of this bike. I think I'm happy with it, you know. I'm getting happier every time that I ride it, as the engine's, you know, running in. It's becoming so much different, as you know, anything that you buy new. But anyway, if I was to criticise it, the only thing that I would change on it is, apart from the tyres of course, which I still don't like, and I know we've had this discussion about this bike before with the tyres, you know, it's a personal thing. I think they're too chunky, you know. People probably think I'm too chunky, but hey ho, but but yeah, I'm a Michelin man and that's it. Anyway, but what I would like to do is, I find the suspension on these bikes a little bit hard, you know, and I sort of get it, because you know, again, it's like what roads do you ride on, you know? Well, I mean, I ride a lot on this sort of road, and generally speaking they're pretty good roads, but when you do get the bumpy bits, I mean, God blimey, hey, talk about shaking the insides up. Whereas like the Himalayan, for instance, the suspension on the Himalayan is quite soft, and that's nice, you know. The Meteor tends to be really hard suspension. This isn't as hard as the Meteor, but yeah, it's still for my liking. Again, you know, it's new, I get it, it's only done 600 odd kilometers. It will bed it, it will soften up a bit. So maybe, you know, give it a year's time, I might be saying a totally different thing, saying, oh yeah, this suspension is great. At the moment, for me, it's a little bit bouncy. But yeah, I mean, that's nothing, is it? You know, I mean, if it upset me that much, which it doesn't, you know, I could change the suspension, which I'm not going to. But yeah, there's more important things to change. Now, I was at one stage mentioning about Christmas presents and everything. I don't know how far I got on that subject. I think I got waylaid, which isn't unusual for me. So yeah, so basically, a rack, that's what I'm saying, a rack. So I've asked the wife, you know, if she wants to get me a rack for the back of this, I would be duly grateful. That would be really good. And my daughter, she asked me what I wanted, and I said, well listen, how about a nice little fly screen for the front, you know? Always useful, just to deflect any rubbish that should be coming off. Now this can always be a bit of a pain in the ass. He's got two dogs there, which I'm hoping they're both friendly and they don't want to come chasing me. Nah, they look pretty cool at the moment, which is good. Last thing I want is a dog hanging off my foot. I was watching Itchy Boots, where she went past them two dogs, and she was hoping she could go. She went to that gorge. She was hoping she could go out the other way, and it didn't work out. So she had to oops, got my indicator on again. I'm really good at that these days. She was hoping she could go out the other way, but it didn't work out. So she had to go past them, and you know, you could see. She said, "Look, they're coming across. I can see the tails," and you know, it's a horrible feeling. You know, you're there and you're thinking to yourself, oh no, here comes the dogs. I mean, at least them had got their owner with them, you know, whereas the ones that she encountered, there was just dogs. And even though they come up to her and the tails were wagging, nah, you know what I mean, that means absolutely you can't say, oh look, the tails are wagging, they're friendly dogs, because a lot of times that means absolutely nothing, huh? So yeah, I felt for it then. I thought, oh my god, get out of here quick. Look how calm the sea is. That, look at that, hey? Isn't that beautiful and calm, huh? Hey? A few people, I don't know whether the GoPro will pick this up, but there's a few people fishing down there, so can you see that? Look at that, look, hey? Beach casting as the well, it looks like it's going out, which is strange because you normally fish when it's coming in, not when it's going out, but still, never mind. Who am I to say, eh? But yeah, look at that, eh? Really calm today, it really is. There's no wind around, there's nothing. We'll go down the other bit actually, probably park up there for a minute, stretch my legs. This place is called Curlaz, and like I said, it's all that's the actual Bay of Douarnenez. All this coastline around here is the Bay of Douarnenez, and this particular area is Curlaz. Oh, see what I mean about the bumpy roads? There you go. Oh, I've got to pass him with his dogs again now, I suppose, eh? Mind you, he'll probably think the same as me. He'll probably think, oh, this bloke's a pain in the butt. Hey, where's he going? I don't mean to be. I know what he's like, because my... oh, God. Yep, he's having a look. Okay. I don't think they're bad dogs at all, because they're not on a lead, and they didn't exactly come springing at me, did they? I'm glad to say. Right, so we'll go down to the other beach now, which is like hang a left there and down again. Now there's a big site down here. Well, this is just here, look, Cap Fun. That's it in there, look, obviously well closed at the moment. Again, another site that didn't seem to do as well as it normally did this year. I mean, it was an awful summer weather-wise. We had a lot of rain. We have a lot of rain here anyway, but this year was an exceptionally wet year. And you know, again, I've said so many times riding around this area, people are just getting fed up of coming here, paying a lot of money to stay in a caravan and getting soaking wet. So I think the Breton area itself, especially where we are here, Finisterre, you know, it's suffering. You know, it's I know there is absolutely no way. I mean, France has got some lovely places, you know. You've only got to go just down the road and the weather changes drastically. As I found that out Sunday, I went to a place called Saint Brevin-le-Pin down to see my daughter on Sunday. Well, we all did, the family, and I mean, you know, we got up here, it was raining, we went down there, we sat outside the caravan, you know, there, it was nice and warm. I mean, you know, and it's only 2.5 hours away, and it makes such a difference, you know. And people are getting fed up, you know. You pay good money, don't you, you know, to come away. You do. And then all of a sudden, you know, this is what you have to put up with. You know, the weather becomes like really bad. Let's have a little look up here, shall we? That's a funny toilet if I ever seen one. Better than the old one, mind you. That's a good bit of parking. I mean, okay, there's only one car, but even so. Look at that, eh? It looks really nice, eh? That sea is so calm today. I mean, it really is. It's really nice. I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed. Even though you've got this extra revs, you know, there's extra 2,000 revs, to be honest with you, now the engine is loosening up, you don't particularly need them. Well, I haven't needed them. I mean, you're doing the speed, you know, you're doing the limit without really using them. I mean, when I first got the bike, fair enough, you know, it was like, oh, I wish I could take it just that little bit further, you know. But now it sort of does it really most of the time. You're doing what you want to do without using those extra revs, you know, which is rather nice. So I suppose if you want a bit more faster acceleration like that, fair enough, then you can take it up. But I mean, that's it really, you know. And that was just a little play around it. Normally I like to go through the gears nice and easy, but it just goes to show that if, you know, the occasional little blast certainly doesn't hurt it, and certainly does it good in a way when you're running it in, you know. You're not straining the engine by any means. It's a smelly old car, whatever you want to call it, in front. God blimey. Hey? Doesn't smell very nice at all. This is coming into the actual village of Curlaz this way. Nice little beach there. They're doing some work, but there's those like little these little hottie things here, so they're looking a bit tatty these days. These used to be really well looked after, and I don't know, they just look, I don't know, dare I say it, yucky. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yucky. Well, they do, you know. They don't look nice. They don't look, you know, when you come to the seaside, you know, that things should look nice and clean and crisp. They don't. They just look a mess. Sorry if anyone's listening that doesn't think so, but hey ho, can only say it as it is. And there you go. Look, there's the well, you can't really, and I can't see much here. Across there, that's Treble, where I've taken you to before. Well, they look like they finished this island off, eh? Dearie me. Made a bit of a difference to what it was. This is like Treble that we're entering now, well the bottom half of Treble anyway. I think I could definitely do with stopping off and changing over my GoPro battery somewhere along here, I think, or maybe not. There's a little pulling up here, I think, somewhere. So this is where those few extra revs help, especially like now going up the hills, you know, but it still gets up. I mean, this, yeah, it's quite funny really, you know, you compare this to my 411 Himalayan and the difference in performance is unbelievable. I mean, that is a chugger up the hills. There's no two ways about that. And there's no other words. There's no other words to describe it. It's a chugger up the hills. But it's a faithful chugger, and I love that bike. I really do, you know. It gets there, it just chugs along, and it's great. It's such a pleasure to ride, and such a comfortable bike as well. But I am loving this as this bike beds in. So different. You have to be careful on this bit here, because this bit is a 50, and I remember years ago I came around this bend here and I was only doing about 60. This bit here, it was just there, and just over there was a gendarme with a speed camera, and guess who got done? It's just this bit that's 50. Well, mind you, I better shut up. Incriminate myself. Right, so did a little stop, changed over the GoPro battery, and so that's the little case I got, look, yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, what I've done is I've just put some straps round this grab rail here, and I mean, it's solid, but the thing is, you can't exactly get much in there. So yeah, I think I'm going to get me a rack that, you know, I can get a bigger a bigger box on there, and I mean, you know, you got to carry your sarnies with you, don't you? But yeah, I think the bike's looking pretty good, nice and clean. Well, it's got a few bits and pieces on it now, but I still like the player black. I really do. And again, you know, personal choice. I mean, you know, I looked at all the colours, and I think they're all nice, to be honest with you. The only thing that put me off the and I don't know what the rest are called, but the sort of bluish one, yeah, I'm sure you know the one I mean, is the fact that it was the wheels. I just didn't like the colour of the wheels. But you know, that's a small thing, and you know, someone else will probably look at it and think, you know what, I love them wheels, I think they're brilliant, and I think that's what it's all about. But yeah, I do think these are a really nice looking bike. Yeah, I think Royal Enfield are really getting their act together now, and I got to be honest and say, I think these engine bars, you know, they're not too much. You know, they're not in your face engine bars, but yeah, I think they just look nice. Anyway, right. I don't know if it's old age or maybe a bit more common sense, but I always take heed a lot more these days of cars at junctions. I don't know why, but I do. Like I said, not a bad thing. So, just to finish a little chat on the way back home, and Royal Enfield, as I said before earlier on in this video, they released the Bear, the 650 Bear, which it looks a nice bike. I mean, I haven't seen one in the flesh, but it certainly looks a nice bike. But and of course, alongside that, we have the Flying Flea, and you know what, I really do that, and they brought it out at the right time as well, didn't they? You know, let's face it. I mean, yeah. So I'm sure everybody knows the history of the Flying Flea. You know, it was used in the war for the British soldiers. Nice little bike, could be dropped off by parachute, and our lads could be zipping here, there and everywhere. And yeah, I mean, you know, what a fantastic bit of kit. So to bring it back all these years later, I think it's great. I mean, you know, I really do think it's great. I wish them every success, although I got to be honest and say, an electric bike isn't my cup of tea. And yes, I'm quite aware, you know, we've got to preserve our planet, and you know, and I'm all for that. I really am. You know, I'm all for, you know, doing what we should do, the right thing and everything else. But I don't know, electric bikes, well, for me, it doesn't really cut it. I don't think I'd want one, to be honest. But again, that's just me, you know. Some people might look at them and think, oh yeah, you know, fantastic bit of kit. I don't know who that was, someone in that truck. It's alright, that's why somebody in that truck there just, I don't know, put the wave, but I haven't got a clue who it was. I can't quite remember what time I come out. Was it, I think it was about 12 o'clock or just gone 12 o'clock. What are we now? 10 to 2. So yeah, nice ride, enjoyed myself. My shoulders have took a bit of a, not because of the bike, it's nothing to do with the bike, but my shoulders and neck. Like I said, I can do a bit of a ride, and it's not too bad, but after a bit, these days I am pretty glad to get home, because after the accident it does sort of take a bit out of you, and it's certainly a bit sore at times, but still, never mind, eh? Such is life. Well, we'll just get the garage door open, shall we not? I might as well take you back in the garage. That's of course providing I can find the key fob, which would be extremely nice. There we go. There's old Gigi at the back, look, and the Himalayan the other way around. Right, okay, well that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little ride. Hope you're all well. Look after yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, that would be really nice, or leave me a comment, that's even better. But even better would be if you subscribed, that would be great. Right, so I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, see you soon, and bye for now.